Power Book 4 Force, Season 2, Episode 7.
Ah,
Chicago is heating up. Tommy and Maria wake up and do it again. It's clear they're in love, but they don't have much time to bask in it because Miguel and his black beater just pulled up to the door. Bro is looking around his apartment and Tommy is hiding shit at Maria's. Tommy then convinced Miguel to convince Shay to drop the Serbs. Maria doesn't feel too dope about the situation and she has to take the bus to go to work. Unless Tommy ended up getting that car for her. I don't know what happened with that.
convenient to say the least.
Very convenient.
I also don't know what has changed for Che in between the first time the Serbs stole from me and now. Considering that, like, days are passing, not weeks, not months. Days are passing in between these episodes. So, like, all this shit is relatively close together. Why were we so, I will kill you if you move against the Serbs. That's my money. Well, you know what? No, that part makes sense. Because before all of that stuff was going on, Miguel couldn't go back to him and be like, but I'm tripling what they're making. Like, you don't even need them and they're causing all this trouble. He couldn't say that initially. And that's, due to Tommy's doing. So that part of it makes sense, I guess. Now they have a little bit more leverage to make something happen. But just him showing up there while his sister there randomly is just, very convenient, I guess.
Diamond's PO pulls up to drug test Diamond. Turns out bro has put Diamond's name in for him to speak at the Crimson Project's fire.
This is harassment. You can't just make me, I got a job already, sir. I am dutifully employed, okay? I'm good. I ain't see nothing in here in parolee say I get to take your free time after you get this drug test. I ain't see that now. Okay. And then what you asking me to do behind it too is nuts. Like, that's insane.
Announce CBI, his whole affiliation.
You want them to shoot me right, somebody out the crowd to shoot me right then, like it'd be a tragic story. Not saying that. What's wrong with you?
Stacy is having a conversation with her man about Vic's intel on the Crimson Project situation. Then she lies to the head of the DOJ about what Vic's got going on.
So first off, let me say that this episode was written better than dialogue and plot-wise was written better than everything else that came out of this season. It did a lot to kind of I can't say repair because the damage is kind of done once you do some of that stuff, but put bandages over some of the sore spots in the plot that just weren't coming together. The fact that this task force was already put together at least a month in advance with the focus of Tommy Egan before he made any of these moves. Right? But somehow it just happened the way that she already decided that it was going to be. I guess she's clairvoyant as well. So the kind of back and forth about what to do next with Egan, them kind of being stuck, the DOJ lady coming in there and kind of putting pressure on her, like, what the hell is going on? It's not so one-sided of an affair as it has been in the first, 7 episodes prior or 6 episodes prior to this. So also her dialogue, the way she was talking. Notice she didn't sound like the manager at a brothel. And she sounded like a district
She was looking
attorney.
for her money?
Yeah, someone who's trying to turn the screws on a criminal informant and not a fucking pimp. Motherfuckers better have my information on time, or I'm gonna smack that ass. Compared to, look, we need to put pressure on Victor Flynn to get some information. Like, we need something. He needs to remember where his loyalties are. Like, the difference between episode 5 and what I heard in this episode couldn't be more stark.
Yeah.
And so whoever wrote this or wrote the responsible for the dialogue in this episode, and whoever was in charge of directing this episode, I applaud, because you did a lot to try, at least attempt, to recenter the season from some of the Tyler Perry-esque nonsense that was being written in the last 2 episodes. So, I'm fair when I'm fair. It has been absolutely terrible. This was adequate, and it was attempting to try to fix some of the nonsense that we have been seeing over the last couple of weeks.
Agree. Seems like Jenard's right-hand man is also Shanti's right-hand man. as well on the low. Bro accuses her of being stigmatized. That causes her to be aggressive with him. Fam, she's already overplaying her hand. She has no real leverage here besides maybe the fact that she got hands.
She's low key in the win, but I think they're trying to establish her as kind of like a dark horse or a, somebody who hides in plain sight and is kind of counted out. Because what I got from it when she did her turn initially, when she got Jenard back into CBI, she hadn't been written as a player, right? She hadn't really been written as a player. So to see her, staking her claim to try to vie for the throne, it was very off putting and it felt very generic and stereotypical. Um, but I got out of this episode, right? Homeboy, we've only ever seen him loyal to Jenard, right? And if
To a
she's
fault.
that right, and if he's also that loyal to old girl to the point that she could put her hands on him and don't nothing happen. Okay, so that means you've been showing loyalty to Jenard, but really your loyalty has been to her all along, is what I think they were trying to establish. So she's had eyes on CBI and Jenard for longer than we've been paying attention to. Once again, another kind of step adding to the plot, adding to a cohesive story from whoever put this one together. As comparison to, oh yeah, let me shock them into oh my God, it was her. Like, one person is kind of telling nursery rhymes and the other one is trying to write a story.
The faults that I had with this is one, she already gave up any leverage that she had by already giving up the territories that she had. Two, oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. No, respond.
No, finish.
Two, why can't Homeboy just shoot both her and Jenard and then move up?
I'll answer both of those in two parts. First part, why did she put her territory with CBI and the rest of the coalition? Because she aims to X Tommy out and take over the coalition. She don't want the coalition not to exist. She would love to run the entire city and be the plug for all of Chicago. She just don't want to be working for Tommy, right? And we'll talk about whether or not that's actually going to come to fruition or not here in a second, because I think we got some foreshadowing for maybe that not being the case, at least not in the short term. Your second question, why doesn't dude just shoot her and then move into her spot? The answer is he will. Power. She'll either kill him or leave him sitting around too long to end up fucking her, and he'll snitch to Diamond and secure his spot taking over the Garfield project.
Sure. CBI meets up at the Regal. Tommy and Diamond let everybody know that they are not going back at the Serbs. Jenard takes immediate exception to this, but Tommy explains that they're not going to lose bodies. Kilo's people don't like how they're getting down and almost starts a civil war. Tommy explains his plans for the West Side, including the DSDs.
I think Jenard really got this battery in his back about what old girl told him. But at the same time, we have to remember Jenard is still a junkie.
Yes.
So when he said, we got to pull a bullet in a nigga, and she was like, yeah, when the time is right, in his mind that said, when I'm able to put a bullet in Tommy, I'm going to do it. And that's not at all what the plan was, right? Like, we got to understand, we got to remember who we dealing with. It's also kind of giving me the sign, like, we got a little bit of compassion out of her. Right? That's what's so inconsistent with these character portrayals. You can't tell what's genuine and what's not. Usually, if the same person's writing the same character, you'd be able to tell whether or not a person is lying without having to actually see the proof or having them say it out loud. It's very hard with Power because something that is genuine in one episode is totally ingenuine in the next. A person who is inconspicuously eye screwing the barber who helped her son learn how to fight is now an actual wholesome wife explaining her circumstances to this strange man in her house. I don't think that happened by coincidence. I think they looked at that and said, what in the fuck is going on here? But it's just so wildly inconsistent sometimes with these portrayals. Like I've
Yeah.
seen Tommy the pragmatist, and I've also seen Tommy the psychopath in one season, and it just doesn't feel like that's even where he is in his progression, where he's flip flopping so wildly, you know.
Vic explains that he knows about Jenard meeting up with Claude, but that Tommy's got something good going here. I found that weird because are you intentionally trying to get Jenard caught up in this Rico as well?
I don't know if he's trying to get Jenard caught up. I don't know if he sees Jenard like riling people up, and that's just gonna cause more trouble for everybody. It could have just been some genuine advice, like, "Hey, yo, you should probably just let this shit go and ride the wave, bro. Make the money."
Yeah, we'll see. Shanti goes to meet with Claude, and right from jump, how did she make it into your crib if you weren't ever planning on doing business with her in the first place? Turns out that was so weird. Turns out that Shanti is behind the hose at the little strip club joint that Claude went to. Claude tries to negotiate 60-40 her way, but they end up splitting it 50-50 just so Claude can confirm that Shanti keeps any men out of their business. If
A very unnecessary part of the episode. One of my only critiques. Like we really didn't need to turn this into a to a I Claudia's problem is not men. It's just not. You haven't established that, man. You have not shown us that the only thing that's keeping Claudia from being the Flynn leader that she wants to be is men. She killed the doctor with Dahlia. She tried to kill her fucking brother and X him out, and then he cut her out of the business. She had been playing the constant back and forth game with her father and her brother before, which could have gotten them out of this situation way earlier before they ever killed Liliana. Could have just kept working with Tommy. Her problem is not men. It's her, Claudia.
yeah,
It always amazes me how many examples they will show you that a person is rotten to their core, but then still try to excuse away their behavior with some weak ass lackluster dialogue about how somebody wronged them. No, man, like you're terrible. You are actually terrible.
yeah,
Whether it's Ashanti or whether it's Tasha, whether it's Claudia, I don't know if they know they're writing villainous characters or not because they always, and I mean always, try to find a way to humanize. It's always a lackluster attempt. It feels like it does not feel very convincing. Raquel, another one, like oh, damn near a mass murderer, a serial killer. What's up with y'all?
Stacy is cutting off that Asian man again while he's talking. Stacy doesn't want Vic to think he's in control. She is also overplaying her hand and not listening to reason.
Yeah, no, she's thirsty as fuck. She's thirsty. She's getting pressure from the people that she pressured to get this task force in the first place. It all just seems very politically focused. It all just seems very politically focused. She hasn't really had her focus in the right place from jump. She just saw this mysterious figure from a dead case in New York and thought, "Oh, if I bring this home, it'll kill two birds with one stone. It'll be great publicity, but then it'll also get me closer to the cartel, and I can trade that, for some government access or maybe a promotion or something like that, you know?"
Yeah,
And it's just it's not worth other people's lives. It ain't worth your life, especially if your main thing is getting the bad guys off of the street. If that's not it, what are you doing this for? Got my boy Vargas Muffin Cat Pat Peel Back Blue, but I halfway blame him too because he was acting like a whole goober. Like, bro, could you be any more of a bump on the log? Dog, you sitting in the Crown Vic. You've been sitting there the whole time I've been here, and every time I go somewhere else, you pull back up. You dressed like a cop, you driving a cop car, and you staring at me everywhere I go.
you have a camera with a big old lens on it.
Maybe he just wants to talk to me. Maybe he's just nervous.
Yeah, no, not sitting there like this.
No, but like also, dude's face always looks like he's been looking at you while you haven't been looking. You know how somebody just got that face Like they look like they've been staring at you while you wasn't looking at them.
Yeah.
And make you do that quick double take. It's that blank stare face. And nigga be like, bro, you look like you've been staring at me for like the last 5 minutes. What are you doing?
With the eyebrows down, just.
Yeah, you got his fucking mouth open on.
Fair enough. Miguel meets with Che to discuss what Tommy and him discussed. He explains that he hasn't done shit to the Serbs, though they deserve it. And because Miguel is making bro triple what the Serbs are, Che should cut them off.
Easy enough for me.
Therefore, Che meets with Mirkovic in a public place and discloses to the Serbs that he is cutting them off because of the war with Miguel until they starve so much that Mirkovic gets on his knees and begs for more product.
Yeah,
a little much.
It was a
little
much, yeah. But whatever. I mean, we knew this was going to happen to Mirkovic eventually. They're just setting up for a war, right? Like I told y'all, anything that happens in Power will happen over all three of these shows. We got a war going on in the 80s with the Italians and Raquel. We got a war going on in New York City with Noma versus Tariq and Braden. And we got a war in Chicago going on with Tommy, CBI, and the rest of the Chicago gangs versus the Serbs and Claudia.
Why do two of those shows seem so one-sided? Tommy and CBI versus the Serbs and Claudia. Tariq and Braden versus Noma. That one should be one-sided, but we know it's going to end up on the other side.
Noma ain't shit. She ain't nothing. Tariq is going to outsmart her. He gonna say some slick shit to her while she got a gun to his head. She's not gonna pull the trigger, and she gonna end up dead or in jail. Power.
That's exactly how it's gonna happen.
That's exactly how this shit is gonna play out.
It shouldn't be so predictable. It really shouldn't. Tommy sent Maria a picture of the Chicago skyline and told her about what she's missing.
What you missing? Like, nigga, you got a girlfriend, huh? Like, you fall quick. You got a whole girlfriend. It only took a couple of weeks.
A week and a half?
Yeah.
He then gets a text from Miguel claiming that Mirkovic has been cut off, which is good news for him.
Christmas in July.
Jenard's hands are shaking because of his withdrawals. After giving him some box, Shanti wants to confirm that he will stick to the plan. But he won't because he's a junkie.
Yeah, I was wondering where them shakes was going. I was wondering where all that shit was going, because if he's not using it, then be doing something. But
at this point, Miguel got more shakes than he do.
Nah, character development. Maybe it isn't or maybe it started out as a con job and she actually fell for Jenard. Because she's working very hard to make sure wherever she goes, he comes along with her. She established that with Homeboy when she was talking to him, like, hey man, the Jenard is a junkie, and I think you need to cut that loose so we can get back to running business the way we need to. And she pieced him up.
Yeah.
She pieced him up over that, right? And she's sitting over there talking to him. Why he working this shit out? Like, hey man, look, just keep your shit together. Like, babe, blah blah blah. Like, I wasn't getting the feeling of like that was a disingenuous person. Then again, they are writing her as the dark horse and the underdog, so she could just be biding her time with Jenard as well.
Sure.
It'll be interesting to see what happens. Like, does she sacrifice Jenard in some way to keep their cover? Does she sacrifice herself in lieu of Jenard taking it over and finishing it out? And Jenard, has this long-term plan to take down Tommy in her name. Who knows? There are millions of possibilities, but one thing I do know is that it will probably resemble the show that precedes it.
Yes, agreed. The feds are literally taking pictures of Vic and Tommy against Vic's best wishes. Tommy gives Vic another burner to keep the feds off of them, and it's clear he sees the feds. Tommy doesn't suspect Vic, at least seemingly right now.
Like the fact that they keep meeting with him in public after he's been made 2 times already. Oh, pack it up. Pack it up. Pack it the hell up. Like clearly, you don't know what you're doing. And very clearly, you don't give a shit about me living or dying. So yeah, pack it up. Pack it up. You know what I'm saying? Let me send one of the Flynn boys over to old girl who's gonna testify. I'll clear all this up in a few days.
Yep.
In a few days. Because I don't even think we've ever heard him admit to any of the shit they're accusing him to.
We haven't heard it, but assumedly he did at the beginning. But
the eyewitness is the only thing that they have to corroborate all of this.
Sure.
Yep. That's it. He take care of her and take care of all the friends' problems, and old DA chick can suck it easy if she wants to.
Yep.
But what are you gonna do now? What are you gonna do? You got the murder weapon? I guarantee you don't. I guarantee you don't. And you definitely don't have my DNA on none of that body because Tommy helped me get away with it. So
yep.
we're good if old girl is no longer in the picture.
Shanti knocks a nigga out and Tommy seems impressed. Shanti seems unnecessarily hostile to Tommy, especially as he's the boss.
I think she was just giving him shit. He pulled up for the first time in her territory in front of her people, and she was trying to establish, like, she already don't fuck with Tommy. But she's just trying to make it known, I guess.
Tommy told her to towel off, and I cried laughing. Tommy makes the pickup, which Vic makes a joke about. Tommy reminds Vic that they are nothing alike because Tommy started from the bottom and now he's here. Vic is a drug kingpin Nepo baby.
No, but what was the line he used? You think you hit a double when you was really born on second base.
I literally have a comment right here about that. Apparently, Power Riders are Michigan fans.
Yes!
Who in their right mind would write some terrible dialogue like this?
Oh, that was beautiful. Mwah. Hey, get it out your head. You ain't nothing like me. Don't be thinking that you hit a double when you was really born on second base. They out here quoting Jim Harbaugh and Power.
Terrible, stupid. Hated it. Hated every second of it. Like, are y'all serious? Did y'all really just quote?
Hey, they should have put my boy Harbaugh in the credits.
They should not have.
You gotta quote people when you do shit like that. You gotta quote people.
It was a terrible quote to begin with, so no. And plus, they didn't quote him because Jim Harbaugh said third base.
Your man was burning on third base. He said it was an even better situation over there. He gave Walter Flynn just a moderate, like, it was like second base. He was born slightly ahead. No, Ryan, they was on third.
I'm cutting all of this. Anyway. Jenard's right.
That's getting a dub for me this week, boy.
Gross. Hated. Jenard's right-hand man is mad that they doing some low-level shit when Jenard used to run CBI while Diamond was gone. Jenard runs into his old dealer and sends his right-hand man to get his gun. Jenard tried hard as hell not to put it in order right then and there.
Hold on, fam. We'll get to the junkie in a minute. What did Shanti tell you? Did she tell you if you don't step up and if anybody talking shit about Jenard, then she gonna fuck you up? Like, okay, so your idea that was go back to Jenard and be like, hey, we gotta kill Tommy. Bruh. I feel like she just smacked you back in your place and you ain't trying to do nothing. So I know you scared of her. What's your deal? She didn't tell you to do that. And then the answer to fix it is like, all right, cool. You got that gun? It's clean? All right, I'll go shoot him. What? But the whole thing with the junkie, though, I was surprised he actually didn't go.
Jenard wanted to put in an order so bad. Yeah, give me a number 2 with a couple sauces on the side.
Oh, he said no.
He regretted that. I saw the regret in his face. I'm just saying. Diamond gives Leon a comic book and then grabs his mom's groceries. No, that's not a double entendre. He literally grabbed her groceries. Diamond wants to make sure they're good and then admits that he wants to speak at the Crimson Project's fundraiser. Leon advises that he tells the truth when he speaks.
Much more tame portrayal of the mother. Much more tame portrayal. First of all, she not switching so hard that her hip slits. She's not like I fucking Diamond in and out of the like. She's just acting like a normal person. She's surprised to see him in her house and not just like, oh yeah, this your house now, daddy. You know what I'm saying? How she was getting it in the first episode.
Yeah,
Just a simple, benign character depiction. Something that you would feel like would be standard, but boy, it's not standard here. Not
sure.
standard here.
Sure. Also, they just did not explain. Like, obviously, we know why Homeboy disappeared, but they just ignored the explanation for that.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like that was better left untouched.
Sure.
We were only if she goes on to explain, it's only going to get worse. And there's nothing worse than we can get than what that character was. I would like
Fair.
to never see it again. I don't even want him to creep back around and Diamond have to kill him. I don't want to see him ever again. Y'all made him that bad. Make sure he never comes back around. I don't know if he pissed somebody off at set and it was rewrites, or if he steps on somebody's shoes or some shit. But I'm cool with never seeing that fucking minstrel show ever again.
Sure. Claude meets with Shanti along with her girlfriend that she had flued in last episode. Claude makes an underhanded comment about Shanti cleaning up well, which was racist as fuck. I was like, what? Huh? Claude's girlfriend wants to get a private show, but some white dudes have something different in mind, including robbing them.
Hey, why are y'all so sweet? You could shoot the cop in her head at a moment's notice, huh? But a nigga woke up you with a box cutter, all of a sudden you shaking in your boots?
Yep. Yeah.
Sweet. You didn't have no guns.
Especially in your place of work now, you should be prepared.
I promise you, even as a woman, I'm not getting robbed with a box cutter in a strip club. It's just not going down like that, fam. Too many people around.
There's even worse to that story. I'll get to it.
No, it gets absolutely worse. That nigga was way too confident. Way too confident.
Stacy interrogates Vic as if it's him that's not doing his job. Vic ends up giving the feds some information that they should already have and lets them know that Tommy is expanding to the DSDs. This idiot wants Vic wired up.
That they already have. Not information that they already have. It's information that they already established that now is conveniently coming into form. That Tommy is using CBI to try and connect all the gangs in Chicago so that he can be the plug. That is what the whole basis of this task force is for in the first place. Only a month ago when they started it, none of this shit was in place. None of this shit was in place. CBI was fighting with treason. They had heat from the Serbs. Miguel was on CBI's back because of a debt that Jenard owed. Everything, they didn't have anything going through the prisons. They got totally stonewalled through the prisons. None of this shit was happening. Tommy was about as close to being the kingpin of Chicago as I am. But they started a task force between the DA's office, the Chicago PD, and the DEA. All of this was started on a sham that ended up becoming true in episode 7.
On a hunch that worked out?
That happened in episode 7 that just so happened to come together. Now, once again, shout out to whoever wrote this episode because they made it make sense. They realized that we've been prophesizing about something that hasn't actually been true for 7 episodes. So let's connect these dots and connect her theory to what Nick is actually able to corroborate.
Sure.
Because none of that was new. Not a single bit of it was new. That's everything that they thought he was trying to do. Tommy is amassing power to try to become the main guy in Chicago. That's the whole point of the fucking task force.
Speaking of Tommy, Tommy is plating fast food while listening to Smokey Robinson. Jenard's dumbass is outside plotting to shoot bro. Luckily, before he does it, he sees Maria and takes pictures. Jenard legitimately has leverage here, but somehow I feel like he's going to fuck it up because he's a junkie.
Yeah. Why she don't have like a code? Miguel pulled up to your door. Why are you meeting her downstairs outside for anyone to see? Like he has no fear.
And kissing her outside.
You can't be this in love, bro. You just can't be this fast to the point where your life doesn't matter. You gonna marry this girl tomorrow? This is the only excuse you would have for seeing her. Your life be damned. And then her flip flop wishy washy shit about 1 minute I don't give a damn. Take me to buy cars. We'll fuck all day in your apartment. I love you so much. To we should just walk away. This seriously isn't good. Blah 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 blah. Wish wash, which again is inconsistent character depictions, which is we've already went through why that is, but I don't know, man. It just gets hard to keep track of. To be honest with you,
legit. The dudes who robbed Claude are still at the scene of the crime, trying to get some play from the strip.
Y'all still in the club? Y'all
Are
still
y'all
here?
dumb?
At the members only strip club?
Are y'all stupid?
So we know exactly who you are, and you still here. So what that told me, if this writer's gonna get another episode, that probably is somebody of wealth or connection. He's connected to the Italians or something, the Irish. I don't know. He connected to somebody, because if you have enough confidence to rob somebody with a shaving razor blade and then stay in the club, you're somebody. You think you're protected in some way.
And then he had the audacity to also try to rob Shanti. Like, won't you just give me your stuff too? Just hand it over. Give it to me.
Why I don't?
What? Miguel is just trying to take a piss at his house. Something simple. But here comes Diamond and Tommy interrupting the man's piece for more product at low prices. Diamond wants lower prices to keep his men happy and too busy to move on the Serbs. Miguel claims his men need to be more disciplined. Tommy makes the point that they've got a lot of the city sold up. Miguel explains that if he gets the deal done, he'll be putting his neck on the line with the cartel, and therefore Tommy and Diamond's necks will be on his kitchen table if they fail.
Sounds like y'all all gonna be dead. Sounds like they're gonna be right next to yours.
Yeah, they fuck up. Diamond is concerned that once Miguel heard about the meeting with the DSDs, that he will realize that they're coming for everything. His PO texts him and says he's looking forward to his speech, and Diamond admits that he can't make the meeting with the DSDs. Diamond halfway explains that he needs to go to the speech for his parole review, and Tommy seems to understand.
See, I thought he was laboring over whether or not he was going to actually denounce CBI, and that felt like the easiest thing to get over. You mean if I go out here and I denounce CBI publicly, you're going to push for me to get early release from my parole? Okay, give me 20 minutes. I'm going to make 2, maybe 3 phone calls, and I would have done the shit on the 6 o'clock news.
Yes.
I'm calling Tommy. I'm calling Miguel. I'm calling Jenard. That's probably it.
That's it.
Tell everybody, don't pay attention to this shit. Don't worry about it. Don't go all talking about it on the internet. Don't even fucking worry about it. I need to get off parole so I can move around. So I'm going to say whatever the fuck they want me to say, and then we'll be good.
Simple.
What are you laboring over? That man handed you a gift. I think he was actually trying to look out for you. I think he was actually like trying to do you a solid, boy. You said I denounce CBI and all the violence that they've caused in the community. I'll never go back. Hey, we got 10 bricks over there on Leavenworth. Go ahead and pick that up for me.
It's that easy.
Are you dumb? Are you dumb? Why are you so dumb? It's the hard decision here. Get off parole early, or keep this PO officer up my ass testing my piss whenever he wants to. It's so hard.
Diamond has clearly been making some money because this man has upgraded his wardrobe from that bullshit he was wearing at his first meeting with his PO. I've also never noticed how much he looks like Young Jeezy until these scenes.
A taller, more athletic Young Jeezy. Like if he was, Young Jeezy's older brother that could have went to the league if he ain't blow out his knee in college. That's Diamond Sampson.
Yep. Diamond has the speech prepared, but he looks at Leon's mom and not Leon, which would have made much more sense in this case, and starts to fold up the paper and speaks from the heart about wanting to fight for the life that he wants. He would have looked at Leon and been like,
TBI on that piece of paper. Because, fam, if you was going to get up there and do that without saying a word to Tommy, you are insane. You are insane. Now, we get a little bit of conversation from Mom and Diamond after the speech or whatever, where she clears up that she's not stepping out on her husband. They haven't been a couple in a while. Okay, Jada, let's move on. Let's just move the fuck on. I'll leave it alone. You clearly wanted it to be known so that she can be a good, virtuous character with no improprieties. So let's just move the fuck on. Like, that is lazy. But once again, this writer was cast, whether it was asked to be that way or it was just the nature of how the season is gone, to plug, to fix. Like, that's all I see from this episode is just corrections to things that have irked me narratively throughout the rest of the season.
The feds give Vic the wire that's attached to a chain. The pendant has a switch attached to it to turn on and off the wire. Bro explains that if he needs to ditch the wire. Just
throw it, yeah.
Bro also explains that Vic snitching could save his daughter's life someday. Power loves to spoil its own content. That one sentence just automatically let me know that for some reason he's going to die and Vic is going to have to choose between killing him or, his daughter's at home. Which didn't quite play out, but like I knew it was
I knew he was dead though. Yeah. I knew he was dead when they was talking in the office. He was talking about, you need to communicate with Vargas. And Vargas was sitting there with that fucking dead ass stare. Oh man, he's dead. He's fucking dead.
When they mentioned the daughter, I was like, bro, he's done for.
And then he said all that nice shit about his daughter and stuff. And then he's like, oh yeah, by the way, put this tracker on Tommy's car. Are you fucking stupid? Are you dumb? Are you dumb? He saw you. If ever he was looking for trackers on his car, it'd be now.
Also, I have a question. What is happening? Oh, you know what? Actually, this came from a comment from Glittery Bubbles. What's happening with Seamus and his sister now? Seamus is dead. Is his sister fending for herself now, or what?
Probably, yeah. She probably got kicked out of the rehab center because her check ain't clear. That's why Seamus was down there pressing Diamond for more money because he was late on his payments. And now she about to get booted. She gonna end up back on the street.
They just ignored all of that. All right, whatever.
Ooh. Nah. Well, what if? See, I don't even feel like giving them no crazy power theories. I don't feel like giving them the juice. Why?
They wouldn't be able to write it.
Yeah, what if Diamond's sister, Seamus's sister, is actually Diamond's ex? And the reason why we haven't seen her is because she's recently strung out on the new wave of drugs that's been coming through Chicago. Dahlia, all the new pills.
That makes
she's
that
fucked up and she's in rehab. And that's why she texted Diamond at the beginning of the season and was like, hey, I don't think this is gonna work. Because she was in rehab for the umpteenth time.
That could work. They would not be able to write that. I'm convinced. That would not work. It would be unbelievable.
And then she gonna pop back up in Diamond's face. Like, Diamond, he gonna be like, you broke up with me, you left me. I ain't talking to you. And she gonna be like, that's not what I'm here for, Diamond. Have you seen my brother? Who the hell is your brother? Seamus Finnegan.
It'd be so soap opera-ish. It really would. They wouldn't be able to write that very well. But we'll see, I guess. Abuela made sure to tell Miguel a story about his grandfather. He apparently was a powerful man, but started to trust too many people. She also has an unnecessary hatred for Tommy, who she's barely said more than 2 words to. She also has a hunch that he plans to get ahead of Miguel, which again, she has nothing to base any of that off of.
No. I want you to juxtapose her concerns and what she believes about Tommy versus what girl the DA is coming up with, right? The DA had the same story that the DA is operating off of right now is the same one she established when they found out who Tommy Egan was. It's the same thing. They haven't added anything to the case. They haven't changed anything about what they suspect. It's been the same thing the whole way through. With Grandma, she starts off at, you don't know this dude. And with you not knowing him, that's a wild card. Like, he could tear your shit up. Why are you even messing with him? Then it moved to, he's asking for more territory. Why? Why aren't you interested in why he wants more territory? Pay attention. Then it was, okay, I cut off the Serbs. Why did you cut off the Serbs? Who suggested that you cut off the Serbs? Whose idea was it? See, she sees that Tommy is bringing him all of these gifts, all this money, everything Miguel wants from his workers. Tommy's bringing it in, money over fist, which makes Miguel happy, which makes him complacent, which makes sure that he trusts Tommy. And like she said, trust is the death of you in this business when you trust people too much. And so she just sees the opportunities that could be won by Tommy in these certain situations. She doesn't necessarily see the whole picture. You know why? Because she doesn't have all the information. Somehow Super Cop over here has all the information and none of it at the same time.
Apparently Miguel is going to make a deal with the DSDs. Turns out Miguel has the same plans as Tommy.
And he already got there, and the DSDs don't fucking like Miguel. He's going to be heated. But I like that Miguel's not just sitting back and letting this shit happen to him, right? He don't want to hear that shit from his grandma. He don't want to hear that shit. But he definitely is not about to just sit back and get ran over. He said it to her. He's like, man, I'm always prepared for war. And that's why his ass so damn angry now. He always ready to fucking fight. That's why he over here breaking doctors' hands and stuff. Because he's literally always been ready for war, which I believe the grandma probably has something to do with that.
Sure.
But he's not going to get caught with his pants down. I just wonder if he can find anything to regain some leverage in this situation. Now, he has never met Che, and Che has no reason to cut Miguel out and replace him with Tommy. And in the case of something happening to Miguel, I think Che would end up suspecting Tommy. It would be very easy to suspect Tommy in that instance, because he stands the most to gain. But I hope that he's able to reestablish some sort of leverage. Well, first of all, I know that he's going to do it because they're not just going to make Tommy the king of New York by the end of this season. I mean, Chicago by the end of this season. They're going to stretch that bad boy on out. So something's going to happen to belabor all of this shit that's going on. The investigation, the attempted coup that's happening from Ashanti, the hostile takeover that Tommy's planning with Miguel and his organization. It's something's going to delay all of this shit. I don't think any of this gets resolved in this season.
Agreed. The DSDs greet Tommy with a brick to his rear window. Tommy works his best negotiation skills with Chavo, but man's right-hand man almost puts a shotgun shell right through Tommy, amongst his own paranoia. After everything, it seems Chavo likes to cut at Tommy's jib, and because Miguel talks down to bro because of their Mexican and Puerto Rican heritage, he would like to do business with Tommy, which doesn't bode very well for Miguel's upcoming meeting, or so I thought. Then I realized it probably happened before. Chavo agrees to take care of Tommy's window.
You are right, because that conversation happened the night before. So he absolutely could have met with them, found out that Tommy and them were having a meeting with them, and already worked it out. And was like, just tell me what they end up saying. But I don't think they said anything to like disrespect Miguel or make it seem like they were about to cut him out.
Nah, well, the only thing I thought is that because Chavo mentioned, like Miguel is always talking down to me because I'm Puerto Rican and he's Mexican.
First of all, Mexicans look down on Puerto Ricans?
I'm sure there's some kind of nationality beef going on there.
That's different.
Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, Cubans. I don't know. Don't quote me. If you're any of those in the comments, let us know. But because of that comment, I felt like, okay, maybe Miguel came to them first and then Tommy came around. But who knows? Who knows? Nothing's decided, I guess. Tommy lets Diamond know that the deal is done, and then Diamond's new Breezy shows up in a red dress. She apparently showed up early, and she looks around at Diamond's trapped-in hideout and says it looks nice, which is cap. She then explains that she wants to stay in and rips off her dress like it was an NBA player's warm-ups. Therefore, we get 2 sex scenes this episode.
Who's the first sex scene?
The beginning, Maria and Tommy.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah, man, I was like, man, this episode was going so well, and they just had to shoehorn another sex scene in out of fucking nowhere. So never mind, man. I don't want to explain why it's kind of garbage, but whatever.
She ripped that shit off like,
you just got out of an abusive relationship that you hadn't really been in, but kind of was still in because he was living with you, right? And then, so then that means it really wasn't wrong for Homeboy to be doing what he was doing when Diamond told him to leave and never come back?
Technically.
Anyways, I don't even want to dig back into that hole. It just like, wouldn't it make more sense for her to be like, hey, I want to take this slow. I want to make sure everything's cool. Like, I just got out of some bullshit. I want to make sure everything's straight with you before I just give the box up. A mother now. Like, we're not just talking about a normal, young, single woman. We're talking about a mom who just got out of an abusive relationship with an addict. And now this former drug dealer who's seemingly reformed his life is here. You don't think she's going to have to just a little bit? Like,
Diamond's a good guy. He's teaching him how to
go over there in the lingerie, ready for sex off GP because we need another sex scene. Like, yo,
Diamond's a good guy.
Writing? Oh, it's a good thing she's really nice because she's really dumb and slutty. Like, but she's a good person though, so let's root for her. What do you write? You can't go to dinner with this man first. Why they can't go eat first? Shit.
No, Diamond gave a speech. He's a good guy. Okay, he gave a speech.
She's known this man for a quarter of the time that Tommy has known Maria. And yet she's taken a quarter of the amount of time to hold the box back.
Diamond gave a speech. Okay? It's okay. He's a good guy.
He took her driving. He bought her tacos. Only thing Diamond had to do was talk.
He gave a speech and he bought her son a comic book. That's all you need to do.
I feel like they're writing things that seem so cool on paper, and then it comes out on film, and she just looks like an
idiot.
I don't know who does that. Who does that? She don't know this man. How is she that comfortable with him already?
Because he gave a speech and bought her son a comic book. He brought the groceries in. You know how many guys don't bring the groceries in?
House now, he just be there when she show up. Like, none of this is who are you, sir? Like, I've not heard her say that not one time. She has come home and he's just there. Sir, do you just normally let yourself into other adults' homes? Like, is that what you do? You just let yourself in and just be waiting when people come home, huh?
He told her that she was beautiful. That's all it takes. You look good today. Oh, I do?
Right.
Claude's girlfriend that she flew out last episode is somehow not shook about being robbed and even has some plans of her own for expanding the business. Aside from not having any experience in the drug game, she clearly wants her own money and wants to keep Shanti out of it for some reason.
Jealousy, who knows, territory.
I thought more money, maybe, but still.
Yeah, but I mean, Claudia can split her 50%. You all right?
Sure.
How rich do y'all people need to be? How rich do you need to be?
Speaking of Shanti, she got her Golden Gloves necklace back from Jenard. Shanti's dumbass explains to Jenard that despite...
I guess he's been making money. He's been out there hustling, so...
Yeah, something. Shanti's dumbass explains to Jenard that despite not liking white people, she brokered a deal with Claudia to make some serious cash.
Hey, Josh, thank you for putting it in that perspective for me. Because once again, her entire situation, the reason why she's jumping now is because there's a white man at the helm and she's tired of white people stealing from us. But yet I can go 50-50 with a white girl. Huh?
Same devil.
Or let me guess, she not white, she Irish.
Jenard's dumbass gives Shanti the leverage that he has against Tommy and shows her the picture of Tommy with Maria. Both of them will find a way to fuck up each other's good news because they are both dumb as hell. The one good thing is Shanti stopped Jenard's dumbass from blasting the shit out everywhere. They'll still fuck up the information somehow. I just know it.
It's gonna be leverage. It's gonna be leverage. So there was a conversation at that pickup where, Tommy basically tells Ashanti like, hey, look, man, I know this shit look kind of crazy with Jenard being back on the corners or whatever, but the fact that you still with him looks good to me, and I reward that type of loyalty. There's two reasons why that conversation interested me, because number one, she seemed interested. Number two, there's two ways you can play that. Well, not number two. There's multiple ways that can go. Number one, she can use it as a kind of in. If she thinks that Tommy fancies her, she can use that as a way to get close to him. Also, it can kind of open up to her eyes about, not being racist against white people and maybe just work with her white boss every now and again. It's
Sure.
just like her beef is not really a beef at all. You was always working for somebody. Was it better if you were working for the Serbs or the Mexicans or a white girl? You were always working for somebody. And I don't believe that the Tommy's plan of being the king of everything in the city was ever necessarily your aim, unless we're just missing something in the character background that doesn't really seem like that's what you wanted. It seemed like you just wanted to be independent, free of white people that was going to screw you over. Well, if that if that life can be provided by the new king of Chicago, be that Tommy Egan, I could absolutely see her maybe saying, hey, look, I got something that could take you out, but I'd rather not. Put me in position to have some real stake here in the organization, and I'll make this shit disappear. If not, I can make sure you're chopped up. Thrown in Lake Michigan.
I don't feel like they're going to go about it that way, but we'll see. We'll see.
Well, the fact that he has it is going to be leveraged to somebody.
Sure.
So if Jenard need to use it to save his life, if old girl need to use it to save her life, if they both need to use it to have Tommy, not kick them out of the business or whatever, it's leverage however you cut it. So she's saying just sit on it and let him hang himself, but it will become a little bit more aggressive than that. I believe that stuff doesn't usually just linger.
I agree that saving the information is insanely smart. I hope they use it the right way.
Yeah, and then her whole thing about, oh, don't be mad at me, but I went and took that deal that Claudia had for you, blah 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 blah. Like, I'm glad. I don't know, man. I'm trying to tell if she like actually gives a damn about Jenard, or if she's just keeping him close to when she needs to sacrifice a lamb.
Sure. I mean, he'd be the easiest one to sacrifice, considering he's a junkie. Throwing that out there. Tommy drops Vic off and thanks him for the work he did in securing the DSDs. Tommy hides and sees the feds behind a fence. Vic goes to meet up with the Fed, and Tommy pulls up with the blick and accuses Vic of being a snitch. Therefore, Vic got to put a bullet in bro's head. I thought he had hesitated more, like I said before, because of the whole daughter thing, but I don't know. We'll see what happens with that.
Once again, you've already been made multiple times. Why do you keep meeting me in public? What the fuck stops you from meeting me at my crib? What the fuck stops you from calling me into some private area? Y'all got all these goddamn black rooms around the city where y'all go take people and beat them up and interrogate them. Why can't we go one of there? Why am I meeting you off the street around the corner from where he just dropped me off. Why are you doing this? Why do you want to die so bad? Why you want to be dead so bad? This is just it's lackluster. Lackluster as hell. And no, he absolutely had to piece you up, bro, because what was he gonna do? If I
Yeah.
tell Tommy that I'm a snitch right now, not only do y'all not have anything, but that fucks your whole entire investigation.
And he's going to kill both of us.
Well, yeah, he would definitely kill both of us, but like even in general, just for the investigation of Tommy, it's gonna be screwed. It's gonna be screwed. Like I literally, like if you want me to do what I'm on this task force to do, you gotta die, and you only have yourself to blame because it didn't matter how many times he saw you or Vic told you that you're following too closely, you didn't back off. You let old girl get you killed. Give me your thoughts on what's going to happen in episode 8. How did you like episode 7 of Power Book 4 Force? Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Come back every week. We do all type of reviews, but especially now in this season, we're doing Power Book Force. We're also doing Gen V. We got Continental, the short series from the John Wick universe up. So a bunch of content. Go check us out.
Absolutely. Make sure you check out our Power playlist where we discuss Power Book 2 Ghosts, Power Book 3 Raising Kanan, and Power Book 4 Force. And make sure you subscribe because we will be reviewing every episode of Power Book 4 Force going forward.